Hey there, Russ here. Welcome back to the shop. Well, I have been re-inspired by Serendipity Sue. And it has to do with making a Ryobi powered light. So anyway, before I do that real quick, Jerry sent me a message about my last video, which was my annual review of where I'm going to go this year in projects. And he hit it right on the head. And I have to tell you, Jerry, thanks for the suggestion. I told everybody some of the projects I wanted to work on next year or this year. But he said he'd like to see more woodworking and jig projects. And I thought, I did kind of skip over some of that, didn't I? So I'm going to make a commitment right here. Starting now, I'm going to take my rigid belt, oscillating belt drum sander that I have. You've seen them around for 20 years. It's a great little unit. Mine's probably one of the first ones they ever made, and it still works great. But the thing is that that thing could really do so much more. So I'm going to make a couple of quick jigs for it, and I'm also been toying with the idea of turning that into a cabinet unit that sits in a cabinet, and that if I want, instead of that belt being vertical, I can take that whole unit and turn it 90 degrees, and then I have a flat belt use and mount a surface on the unit. So it would make building a whole cabinet. I think we're going to try to go toward that. But to begin with, we're going to make a couple of quick jigs for that I think you'll like. A good fence system so that you can do any angle quickly and easily, and be able to adjust the angles so that when you sand, you can sand perfect angles on it without any problem. Also a circle jig so that you can sand circles perfectly round, different things. And so a good fence system and a good sled system for it. And I've been thinking about that for quite a while. So I'm going to show you some of my ideas, and then we're going to turn those ideas into projects when we're done. So pay attention. We're going to be talking about that a lot over the next month or two as we evolve, going from level to level. Where we're going to end up, I don't know, because a lot of times I get ideas while I'm doing the project. And today's project is no different. So back to today's project. Sorry about the sideline. Serendipity Sue did a video that I ran across. It's about 7 months old, and I just ran across it 2 days ago. And I saw it, and I said, I was going to do that. Why didn't I do that now? But he solved the one problem I was having why I hadn't done it yet, and that is this right here, this bulb. This is a LED 12 to 24 volt DC bulb. That means that it runs on 12 to 24 volts anywhere on DC current. So, but it has the A26, A27, A26, I've heard both. It has that fitting here, which is the most common fitting for light bulbs in the house here in the USA. It's a standard screw thread, and it just screws in there and it lights up. Now don't put this thing in there, because those things run on 110 volts. If you put this up in there, it ain't gonna like it. So you might even get some fireworks. But anyway, but it does run off of low voltage DC current. It means that this thing is perfect for running it off of a tool battery. And so now we're going to take, and since I'm a Ryobi fan, I'm going to show you how to take this and hook it up so that we get a light. It's actually pretty simple. This is the easiest project that you could ever do. And to give you a really nice light, you can build this thing in under 10 minutes if you really wanted to, if you have the parts. It's going to be the prettiest looking thing, but you also can make something even nicer, because I'm going to show you how this thing evolves and how we can do this to it, or we can do that, and how by doing this, we're going to create a whole series of different things you can do with this simple idea of taking a DC LED bulb and a tool battery and make all sorts of different projects. So if you're into crafts, this is great. You can do a lot of lamp making from this. Anyway, so how do we get this to start working? Well, Serendipity Sue did a 3D printing and made his. but I don't use 3D printing. I don't intend on using 3D printing. I like to do things from in the shop. So let's go ahead and turn this into an instant light in under a couple of minutes. Easy peasy. All we need is, and you've seen these before, all we need is one of these. This one in particular already has a switch on it. This fits onto a battery. And it has 2 wires coming out of it so that you can tap into the voltage on this battery just by putting this on. Power switch on and off. They make these with the switch, without. In fact, I have this one here that I turned into a little meter. If you remember, this is the other style. And I had this one too. So there's lots of different styles out there. But I just so happens I have one of these. And this is all you need to be able to turn this into a light. And wiring it couldn't be any easier. So you take your adapter, which is a Ryobi adapter, and you put it on there, switches off, and you have your 2 wires. Now you have this is just a lamp fixture. Any lamp here in the United States uses these things. And this one in particular, you have your 2 terminals. The 2 terminals, one is continuity to the outer edge of this threaded part of this socket. And the inner center pole is the other terminal. So that inner terminal, the center one, that is the positive on here. So the red wire gets hooked to that center post, and the black wire gets hooked to what is the outside threaded part. And this thing is ready to go. And just a couple of minutes, and you now have a nice little light. You walk around with it. Okay, this is kind of rough still. There's something missing. Maybe something to join these 2 together better would be better. So, but you can see how easy it is to make this thing. And if you use one of the other types, you don't have the switch. That doesn't really matter because you can just plug it on and have it turned on. And when you don't need it, you unplug the battery. But I like the switch. So I decided I was going to make one. So I went from this, and I thought about, well, just a piece of PVC, put that in between here, run my wires up through it, hook it up, stick that down in the end, put that up on there, a little hot glue, and guess what? Now you got a full working light that snaps onto a battery, so you have an instant light. And this thing will light up a room. This bulb, and it doesn't matter whether it's 12 or 24 volts, it puts out right at 630 lumens, which is equivalent to about a 60 watt bulb. So you can light up a 10 by 10 room with this thing without any problem. It will comfortably light up the room. So, and it runs on 7 watts, which means that this thing can actually run for 12 hours off of one 5 amp hour battery. So they're very thrifty in the amount of power they take. They put out a comfortable amount of light, and there's places you can go with this. We'll talk about how you can expand the thought on this. But first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to just make a basic light that I could plug in when the power goes out, set it in the room, and now I can see everywhere. At least a little light. So I went from this, and I just made my own little adapter. So I also know when I did this that light is actually pretty bright. So I actually put a little diffuser on it too. I made this all from shop, things that are around the shop. No 3D printing. The only thing I did is, the only thing I really had to purchase straight out before was some kind of adapter. You don't need that either. Honestly, you could, where'd it go? Oh, here it is. You could just build your own adapter in just a very few minutes. All you need, really, is this little clip right here. This is the Ryobi clip that goes, you can buy straight from Ryobi or a lot of different places. I paid a little under $2 for these, and I bought a dozen of them when I did. But this is, all you need is this, and now I can hook up the wires right straight to there and run it. But if you want to turn this into a little outlet, if I take a piece of plastic, drill a couple holes, take a piece of PVC pipe, 1.25 inches, a little heat from a heat gun, then I can take this, whoops, and now I have the makings of my own receptacle. A little hot glue, this thing is ready to go and I can start using it. And you can make this any shape you want. This is just a rough idea. You can make a top plate, you can put a bottom plate on it too, so that you can use it and have a nice little bottom plate for this to sit on. I've done it many times. But this is a good little reliable way of getting an adapter to be able to plug in. So you don't have to buy these fellas here. It just makes the job so much easier. And with the switch, the wiring was nothing. So now I just put that on there. And what I did is, in order to put that area in between my fitting, this is a different one. This is an outdoor, but it's the same principle. And it had its own wire that comes out the bottom. A black and a white one. Common, again, for 110 voltage. That's what it would look like. The black wire is the positive. The white wire is the negative on here. So just make sure you hook it up right. And what I did is, in order to tap this to fit on here and here, I just, being a woodworker, I just made a quick little box. It fits on there, a snug, tight fit. I used rubber rug grip. It's adhesive on one side and friction on the other, rubber pad. I put that on the inside so that when it slides on, it pretty much slides on. If I push it down all the way, you'll have a hard time getting it off. I just haven't pushed it all the way yet because I'm not ready to put it on there and leave it on. But basically, I just did a connector that has the 2 wires from here going into it and the 2 wires from here going into it, and I was done. So the box is the only thing that I did different than the first one. And I did put a diffuser on it. This is just a container that had cake frosting in it from the grocery store. And the lid. And all I did was I just took the lid, drilled a 1.5 inch hole, so that now when this screws up in there, this pushes it up against the bulb. There's no heat on this thing, so you don't have to worry about heat. I've had it running for a couple hours, or for an hour anyway, and there was no heat at all really. And then this fits on there to diffuse it, like so, and now the light is a little more tolerable to the eyes from here. Especially, I put a little piece of tape here that diffuses it even more from my eyes. So if I want to pick this up and carry it, I could put it like this, and then when I pick it up, that is against me so I can see beyond the light. It's not blinding me. So a little strip of something as a further diffuser for when you're walking around with it. And I have a simple little diffuser. I've got, maybe $12 wrapped up here or something along that line. I could keep well under $8 if I made my own fitting. So it's a great little unit. Simple to make, as you can see. So what else can you do with it? Well, this thing runs on 7 watts. So what if, instead of 1 light, what if I made this box curve at the top and I put 3 of this type of fitting on there, and I had 3 of them, and then put 2 switches on it. One switch turns on the center one, the other switch turns on the 2 outer ones. And now you have a 3-way light. 1 or 2 or all 3. And you can get, then you can get up to 1,800 lumens out of it. Oh, stop it. Go away. Go on. Here. Now go away. She wants something. I don't know what. Go on. No. Get. Go on. Get. She won't go away. Anyway, so that's kind of what it is. And you can make this thing in so many different ways. So now you have a nice little light, and you can build this box however you want. You can make it so that your fitting is inside it. So basically you build a lamp that plugs into the battery on the underside in the base. But also, again, remember, this light does run on 12 to 24 volts. So what if you get yourself a little power pack like this with the 5521 barrel connector? Then inside my box, if I drill a hole, I can put a barrel connector here for this to plug into. Then instead of running this off the battery, I can plug my cord in, plug this into the wall, and now I'm running off of power. If the power goes out, I grab a Ryobi battery, walk over to the light, unplug it from the wall, plug it into there, turn it on again, and now I have a working light still. So you can make a nice looking light. Instead of making this thing, you can make something that looks really nice, get a nice shade for it to make a lamp that will also run off of battery power as well as off of 110. Easy peasy. So there's lots of ways you can go with this. And you can put this type of light just about in any kind of configuration or any kind of light. You could make this into a desktop light, take this light, bring it up, and have it pointing down. And then it becomes a really nice, easy desk light. Or a work light, like when I'm working here. So I would like to take one of these. That's why I put this on. I thought maybe I could do something with it. But I have a couple other ideas. But I have one more idea. I'll show you. Let me show you. Let me get something. Since we're spitballing, if you remember back, when I was playing with this light, I had kind of developed where I took a piece of tubing and I put two wires in it. One is 14 gauge silicone wire, very flexible. And it goes to the positive on the fixture. And the negative is just a 12 gauge wire, solid core wire. And I put that up through there. That is the negative. So I can make my connections down here, put this into the base, put that fixture up at the top, and now I have a light that I can actually be flexible and turn in any direction that I want. So I can use it as a light over a desk and use nothing more than this fixture and that. So this makes a good flexible stem for a light. So there's lots of ways you can go with this. So I've been thinking about it ever since I made this. This is just going to go in my my cabinet where I keep my other Ryobi lights that I can plug into the battery. This is going to go in there, and this will be my go-to light to be able to light up a whole room. Or if I go out to the shed at night, the one shed doesn't have any power in it. This would be perfect to just take in there and sit down, be able to see whatever I'm doing. So, what a great addition. Less than, only around $12 or less. Make it for under $10 if you want to be cheap. And it makes a great little added light around the house and around the shop that I can put to use. So, very simple and easy. Something I've been thinking about a long time. I want to thank you, Serendipity Sue, for doing this and helping me find this. I stopped looking for them because I couldn't find the one I really wanted. This is perfect for what I wanted to do. And not only that, one more thing, then I'll let you go. This thing does come in not only in a 630 lumen, it does come in a 1260 lumen or something version, and it pulls about 13 watts. So instead of 60 watt bulbs, that would be like a 120 watt bulb. You really get some good light out of that, but it will shorten the amount of time that you're going to have for battery life. So instead of 12 hours, you would only get 6 hours instead. But the beauty of it is, just by changing a bulb, you can change what kind of light you can get out of it. Imagine one of these with 320 light bulbs in it, or maybe a 60 and two 120s or something. Anyway, it's a thought. There's lots of ways you can go with this. And if you're into crafts, you can make so many byproducts of battery-operated lights now by nothing more than just using these simple 12 to 24 volt bulbs, which there's a lot of them out there now all of a sudden. You can go from this to a really nice craft light if you want. So anyway, I love it. This is a great addition to my shop, if nothing else, even if I stop here and don't build anything else. But I'm going to be thinking about this and trying to decide what else can I build. Some kind of light thing. So anyway, I was having fun thinking about it. I thought I'd share this with you. And I do want to thank Jerry one more time about getting me back on track about woodworking. Because doing things in the shop is what I really like to do. That's why I liked building this. I didn't want to build something that you could sell or put in the house. I just wanted something quick and easy that is a tool. Now I can do some easy peasy lighting with nothing more by grabbing my Ryobi battery and this thing. So anyway, so much for that. If you have any thoughts about this, any suggestions, if you want to make your own and send me pictures of it, I'll be love to see what you do and what kind of ideas you come up with. And remember, this isn't just a Ryobi project. You can do this with any tool battery or any small battery pack. You could probably build something like this from any kind of 12 volt power pack that you can buy and use that as your basis if you want. So, but I like to use it with the Ryobi tools because I got these sitting around all the time anyway, so why not? And when the power goes off, since I keep them all fully charged, I've always got these to turn to, so at least I won't have to walk around in the dark with something like this added to my arsenal. So anyway, that's it. Don't be afraid to share. Leave your comments. If you like this video or you learned something here, hit that like button. It does help me, and also helps YouTube know that actually I have something important to say, because once in a while I do. Anyway, most importantly though, please come back again, because I'm nowhere near done. Thanks, and we'll see you guys again very soon.